You know, I wanted to take Bob to an art fair that had stuff in his price range, so I took him to the cheapest one.
Exactly, good shit. Now we'll take you to the footage.
We can just fuck with some people.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That looks like the girl I fucking banged the other night. That looks like my fucking ex-girlfriend. That's what it is. Or me on an Adderall bender. That's it, one or the other. You know? How much is that thing, 50 bucks?
I found some art for you, Bob.
Oh my god.
It's shown right here.
Wow, this is pretty cool.
That is art. We finally found some art for Bob. He's commissioning a sculpture of Adderall. Can they do that?
You're a dick. You're a fucking dick. Is it real? It would make it better if it's real blow. I don't do blow, but
It would make it
more arty.
What do you got in that fit? Grab. Mushrooms. Let's see.
They're all cast from real psilocybin.
Wow. See, we actually found a guy selling art out of his fanny pack.
Hey, look.
I don't do mushrooms. I get
do
too
much?
paranoid. I get too paranoid. Middle fingers up. Screaming, fuck it up. Miami International is 43 minutes.
Guys, we are here with the Art is Life in Miami Beach. We have seen zero art. There's no art to see, really. I think that's actually one of the most telling parts of Miami Art Basel. As I was telling Bob earlier, there are different iterations of this fair. Miami, I'd say, is the most commercial, marketed, brand heavy, but you go to other cities like Art Basel in Basel, Switzerland, which is the original iteration of the fair, is really all about the art. And I think that I tell everyone that actually has a fascination with art, that's one of the things to really take the time to go to, and it's not easy to get to.
So we went to the shitty one.
We went to the shitty one.
Oh, okay. So that's where the average people. So we went. What was it called that we went to?
You know, I wanted to take Bob to an art fair that had stuff in his price range, so I took him to the cheapest one.
Exactly. Good shit. I don't blame you. I
We're,
still couldn't afford that. Where's the next one down?
The next one down is it's called NADA, New Art Dealers Association.
On South Beach on the corner?
I mean, that's the one cool thing is that this has grown into such a big thing that technically everyone calls it Art Basel, but Art Basel is just one of the fairs. For instance, we weren't at Art Basel, we were at Scope. There's also Art Miami, there's NADA, and there's 100 other bootleg ones that pop up in garages.
Because a lot of people don't know, because I didn't know either. Do you work, are you allowed to disclose, some people can't, do you allowed to disclose people that you work with?
Yeah, well, primarily we work with, I always say it's a lot easier to sell a dead artist than a living one. And they don't bitch or complain about money. So my primary business is buying and selling secondary art, Warhol, Basquiat, Keith Haring, all of the big names that are considered, it's called blue chip art. Don't ask me why it's called blue chip art,
Right.
but that is the term to define, I guess, essentially investment grade art.
Okay.
So there's a big difference. There's you know, pop art, there's street art. I consider blue chip art anything across all the categories that's actually an investment.
Right.
Because a lot of people will come to me, they'll say, hey, I've got $100,000, I need to fill this house. I don't give a shit, just do
it.
a bunch of stuff on the walls that looks cool.
Right. But you, I'm talking more as far as celebrities and stuff that you work with.
It's a
thing.
tricky one.
Right.
There's a couple that I could maybe name.
Because it's like you look at Wires Only, right? Wires Only is
Yeah.
he does all the car things, and he shows all the kind of crazy people that he works with. But it's interesting with art. I don't know if it's a choir thing or if it's just kind of personal choice if you can disclose it. But you told me last night you work with some pretty sick names. So
You know, I think that cars are a different thing. Car culture has always been something a little bit more front and center. I can mention, we've done a lot of stuff with the Kardashians and the Jenners. They're actually incredible art collectors.
Yeah.
Very savvy. They both, Chris and Kylie specifically have incredible collections. And they're actually, to their credit, they do invest in art early. They are what I would consider somewhat trendsetters in that they really do the homework and the due diligence. They're not just following everyone else. So
what is as far as how did you get in touch with them? How did somebody get the business from them?
So, longer story short, Scott Disick, who is Kourtney Kardashian's baby mama, I actually went to high school with. And I have been best friends with him for years. Another great guy, so he actually connected me. The first big painting I ever sold, actually, was probably 10 years ago to Kris Jenner. I sold her a Keith Haring, and it was several $100,000s. And before that, even selling a $10,000 artwork, I'd have to call the person. I'd be really selling it. It would take work.
Right.
This, he put me on text. I sent her the painting. She was sitting front row at a fashion show in Milan. Just says, Art, I'll buy it. What's your bank account? Sent her the bank, and that day I had several $100,000s in my bank.
Wired in the account.
Wired in the account, and it really struck that light bulb like, it might be easier selling the big stuff than the small
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
Because the people buying the big stuff are so rich, they're not breaking your balls over every little thing.
Right.
So I always say it takes the same amount of time.
Do they still negotiate at that level?
They do. She still
Does she have
negotiates.
a person negotiate for her, or does she do herself?
No, she does. I will say she's pretty hands-on, and not just her. Everyone. I mean, I've got multi-billionaires that will fight me down to the last $1,000 on $1 million painting.
Right.
And I don't think it's the finances. I think it's actually people's innate desire to just negotiate and mentally think they got a good deal. You know, I don't care how rich you are. Everyone loves a deal.
No, of course.
And everyone loves to feel like they're still a hustler and they've still got that, shark in them.
You got to make your money too. So when you have a piece
course.
of painting, you're going to always shoot high. That's just how it is, right?
Actually, the higher you get price point, the more transparency there is. So, for instance, I'd say anything over a couple $1 million, I'm not just adding indiscriminate prices. I will have a set commission. So I'll say, all right, I'll take 5%, 10%, 7%. And it's very transparent and open book. Not all art dealers do that. But when I launched ArtLife.com, my big thing was, my background is I managed and developed Alec Monopoly's career, big street artist. And we just got screwed by every art gallery we worked with.
Why? How'd you get screwed?
I mean, they just play games. They don't pay you all the money they owe. They take forever. They tell you something hasn't been sold when they sold it.
Right.
Just every trick in the book they will use to either delay or minimize the amount of money they pay you. And so when I started ArtLife, I really wanted to have transparency and, most importantly, be honest with the artists. Because every gallery just lies to their artists.
Yeah,
And
of
I
course.
figured, it's not that hard to do well in art.
Is it a small world where everybody knows everybody?
Very small business. I say reputation is priceless. You do not get very far if you're ripping people off.
Who's the say the Michael Jordan of what you do? If you want to say
Absolutely Larry Gagosian.
Larry
Have
Gagosian.
you heard that name? So the name Gagosian Gallery is, the Nike of the art world. Larry's actually a really interesting character. We're both Armenian, I'll say. He got his start selling rock and roll posters to kids at UCLA. Went from that to art, was very early in some of the big 80s artists, Warhol, Basquiat, Lichtenstein, and actually it was Sylvester Stallone of all people, who's a longtime art collector, big art lover. He financed Larry's first gallery back in LA in the 80s. And so one of the big unkept secrets of Los Angeles is Sylvester Stallone probably has $1 billion art collection.
No way.
He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't post much of it. But Sylvester Stallone has an absolutely unreal collection of art.
Rocky was that good to him?
Rocky was good, man. He financed the best art dealer on the planet. So let's say you're Larry Gagosian, you've got, 10 amazing paintings.
Yeah.
You're going to give Sylvester one every time.
Right.
So over 30, 40 years of being friends and supporting Larry,
yeah.
he has just gotten the creme de la creme of art. Really fascinating. You know who else has an insane collection? Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson actually owns a huge house in Beverly Hills that no one lives in. It's just to house his art collection.
I'm sure he'll be getting robbed soon now. I'm sure he'll be getting robbed soon.
Well, I'm sure that he's got security, but
Right.
that's one of the unfortunate things. I miss that generation. I don't know if we'll ever have another, Andy Warhol or Basquiat.
Do you think the art is, what it used to be? Whatever, what time period, whatever, was all those guys were around and whatnot doing?
I mean, I think
do you think
that
it's gone downhill?
There's still a lot of innovation. There's still a lot of artists that are pushing the boundaries. I think, sadly, the art that ends up in the forefront and in the human psyche and in collections now is not just sold for the artistic integrity. It's equally sold for the marketability, whether the artist has, that kind of rock star persona, I guess that factor that Dana talks about for fighters.
Yeah, it's weird to me because it seems like what is it just they know how to paint and shit? Like, 'cause there's so many dumb, I just saw some piece of shit like on a table for like 90 grand. Like, it was the dumbest thing ever. So it makes me seem like anybody can fucking do this.
Well, you know, a lot of people say that there's a trend right now for essentially deconstructed art, and it's the definition of, oh my God, my kid could paint that. You know, a lot of it's very squiggly, rudimentary, but different artists have different reasons for that deconstruction. So it's more than just, oh, this is a shitty painting. So it's not just about the visual, it's the context, it's the background. I actually don't buy into it at all. Some of my favorite contemporary artists are fully self-taught, but in the higher end kind of blue chip art world, there is a real focus and emphasis on where they went to school, where they got their MFA, who they studied under, what, you know, line of thought are they, you know, focusing on, who are their references. So there's more than just the painting that meets the eye. When you get to that real serious level, you know, museums and the big galleries, it's not just what's on canvas.
So where did somebody like Leonardo da Vinci make his money? So like he painted these things, and then where did he just sold them himself?
Well, back then, they weren't making their money selling their art. A lot of them were paid by the royal courts and royal families and essentially kept on some sort of retainer to be able to just live and paint. And they would be given these huge projects and year-long commissions, you know, the Sistine Chapel. And so it was very different. I think I'd say one of the best things that has changed about art is that now artists can enjoy financial success and recognition while they're alive. During Da Vinci's time, most artists did not get recognized or appreciated until they died.
Right. No shit. So do those guys? So you have to go to school for that, to like paint?
You don't have to. I'd say one of my favorite contemporary artists.
I think I could take an Adderall right now. I could make like a one-of-one painting. I could just like fucking piss on a wall, and I could put it in that art gallery compared to some of the shit I saw.
What would you paint?
What would I paint if I had to paint something?
You can paint anything in the world. Well, two questions. What would you paint? And what would you paint with?
It wouldn't be a paint. Mine would be like a sculpture.
A sculpture.
I would do a sculpture.
What would your sculpture be of?
Probably be like my ex-girlfriend blowing a dude.
All right.
Like,
now we're getting somewhere. So sexual angst, you know, sexualizing your ex-girlfriend, taking out your Freudian psychological issues.
I'm only kidding. I wouldn't do that.
What medium would you use? Would it be stainless steel? Would it be realistic? Would it be abstract?
Whatever the worst kind of shit is.
So there's
shit.
If I'm giving you a lesson in art, there's essentially two primary forms of art. There's figurative, which is realistic. Figurative is you look at a painting, you can kind of at least have a broad idea of what it is. You know, like if there's a tennis racket on a canvas, that's figurative. You can say, oh, it's a tennis racket. Abstract is anything that does not have a defined specific imagery in it. It's, you know, splashes of blue, or, you know, Jackson Pollock, for instance, who splattered all the different colors. That's abstract. Andy Warhol, who paints, you know, can of soup or a celebrity, that's figurative. So that's, you know, there's your little art history lesson if you want to become an artist. When did you start doing the memes? How long have you done those sports things?
That's how I started all my stuff.
Like, what year was that?
Oh man, 8, 10? I don't
Wow,
know,
that
8,
long
9,
ago.
7. I've been in the game for a while.
You've been in it for a minute.
I've been in the game.
And were you originally just posting to Facebook, or was it Instagram?
Facebook was the first ones that went super
So you're
viral.
posting to Facebook, right?
Facebook had a chance. Facebook would always be the highest numbers shared and shit. People in the middle of the day and just like walk to their table and be like, tonight the Rangers against the Coyotes here on ESPN and talk like that. And then
Bob Menery, a face for radio.
fuck you. That's true though. That is true, brother.
Me too.
We have hopefully we might be doing something with Live Golf next year, commentating Live. We'll see.
I would love that. You'd be perfect for
That'd be
it.
good. I can do the very soft voice too, when they're, you know, golf commentator voices.
They just got John Ram, and he's on the 9th hole.
Yes, Ram
got
on the 9th hole here, 135 yards out. That's golf's easy.
God, you do it well.
Golf's easy.
You literally take me to the, like, I feel like I'm watching CBS.
Yeah, Augusta, not as good as Jim Nantz though, but Nantz did throw me props. I mean, I golfed with Buck 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, Joe and I played golf a bunch.
Did you
I played.
Did you give him your version while
They
you were
knew
with him?
who I was. Actually, Joe, Buck, and I kind of had the same girlfriend, I think, back in the day, which is weird. But
Yeah, she must have been into voices.
Wait, you dated Jim Nantz's girlfriend?
No, I think that Joe Buck and I had the same girlfriend. Like we dated the same girl, like kind of.
The same girl at the same time?
No, we didn't. No, we weren't like me
You
and Joe Buck were not
swords.
like running trains on this girl and be like, tonight on ESPN, the Red Sox. Oh yeah, there she is. No, we weren't doing that. Buck's like, pass over to you, Bob. I'm like, thanks for letting me put this inside of her. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Joe.
I can't.
Back to you. I'm gonna put it in her mouth now. This is what we're. I'm like,
I'm going to pass it off to her ass now.
yeah, exactly. And we're moving up to the titties. Yeah, but no, I played with Joe, and Joe's fucking crazy. His voice is so naturally, like, when you talk to me, it's not like, that's his voice.
I was going to say, like, when you're just hanging out, does he talk like that or no?
It's
He
Sunday
turns it
football
on.
at 8:15.
He turns it on.
No, he's just talks normally like that.
That's how he talks.
It's like you're just having a conversation with him, and it's like, he's like, so I went to the grocery store, and then I went over there to grab some pickles, and my wife was, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's the fucking Packers and the Bears right now playing in front of me. This is fucking insane.
I would love to hear him order. We should get him to a fast food chain and have him order a Big Mac.
Joe's a good dude, though, man. He gets a lot of shit. I think he's one of the best announcers in the game.
I think so for sure.
Do you like living in Miami?
I love it, man. Great city. I born and raised in New York. Super New York kid. Grew up fast and young. Got in a lot of trouble when I was a kid. Moved to LA to get out of the cold weather.
Yeah, LA sucks.
Loved LA. No, look, I had some great years as a bachelor in LA. I had some prime.
Because they're all fucking dumb fucking bitches out there.
LA is not a bad place to be a
Not all of
single
them.
successful guy.
You're not gonna find much like.
Substance. Well, so I met my wife there, who's not
Oh, sorry
American
about
or
that.
from Los Angeles.
Well, you're not gonna meet
no,
much
she's
substance there.
She's
My
Brazilian.
wife is actually-
She's Brazilian, so she's not like a
Yeah, she's not.
LA
she's
whore.
fucking-
But yeah, we got sick of it and sick of the people, and I feel like no one gets anything done in LA. No one gets anything done, and so yeah, we moved to Miami. I got lucky. We moved to Miami 2 years before COVID, so I bought my house. We were settled, had all the plugs with the restaurants. Then COVID hit, and Miami just exploded in popularity. It's not even like a secondary city anymore. I feel like Miami's a major city
It's
now.
too like, you know what it is? I mean, you look at I've never seen anything like that. What part? So there's like key houses that people go to apparently, because I kept hearing the same names, like the guy Ivan,
Yep.
and some other guy. So everybody goes to those houses. Do they do that like every week?
No, not every week,
Oh.
just the big ones. Miami's biggest weekends are Art Basel, Ultra, or like EDM, Electronic Dance Music Week. New Year's is big here. F1 Miami now.
F1 Vegas was a huge flop, I guess.
Was it?
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Were you there?
I
or no?
left actually. I didn't stay, but I mean, it was just a nightmare. I guess everybody's tickets to. Oh, I mean, right when they announced it was this huge thing, and they didn't predict the cold weather. They didn't fucking. It was just my buddy went. It was a nightmare.
I mean, I heard, what's his name? The Verstappen said it was one of his least favorite tracks and experiences he's ever had.
In Vegas?
Yeah, he said it was like amateur hour.
Really?
He didn't enjoy the track at all.
Yeah,
He said it wasn't good race fans. It wasn't a good vibe. People had pretty mixed feelings. I know that business-wise, the hotels did great.
Yeah.
I saw like numbers-wise,
Well, because
they
the
crushed it.
problem was, I mean, why they did great is because so many people pre-booked.
Yeah.
Back in the day, but when they set the prices pretty fucking high, obviously, and then
Yep.
it was just like,
I think I saw the win. They took in a total of $1 million in tips on the blackjack tables in one night.
no way.
It was the record, yeah. $1 million
How many
in
dealers
tips at
is
the
that
win.
split up by?
I don't know, but I think that it got broken down to $2,400 per dealer. I'm not a math guy, so don't quote me, but I know that it was a very big night for all the guys there, and people were spending money in gambling. I hate Vegas, by the way. Never been a fan.
I'm on my way there right now.
I know.
It's
know.
fun. You know what's good? If you do, well, this is the thing. If you go to Vegas, if you stay, the Red Rock's a good place. It's off the strip. It's away from all the action. It's all good. You got Dana playing fucking blackjack there every night. Dana plays blackjack like I've never seen. He'll go in. He'll take out 30 grand. He'll play his first hand. If he wins, he'll maybe usually play another one, I think. Then he'll do two at the same time. He hits for 90. He'll be done in 2 minutes and leave.
Wow.
And then there's times
And he's got the on and off. Did you say I'm done?
immediately. Yeah, he knows.
Wow.
He knows. He runs it like a fucking.
Boss.
I
mean, everything he does is a boss.
But he
move.
doesn't give up. Like there's times where he's down. Like there was one time, so I'm sitting with Dana and he wins 100. He leaves the table, and I start fucking baiting him. And I was like, dude, you're such a fucking pussy. Let's go, like whatever. And he, regardless if it was me or whatnot, I felt responsible. So he goes to the bathroom. He comes back. He's like, all right, fuck it, give me another 100. So I'm like, oh god, because now you're like, fuck,
Yeah.
what if he loses, right? And guess what happens? So he's fucking goes down about $500,000 in like 2 minutes. and
Wow.
the room's quiet, and he's been there before, so it doesn't face him.
Yeah.
And then fucking, I sat next to him, balls, and he was like, "Let's go. This is like, this is it. We gotta get this back." And he won every single hand in the shoe.
Wow.
Every single hand in the shoe. And came all the way back and left with 50,000 up.
Do you know how to gamble?
I don't really do. You know what's funny? I don't do it as much anymore.
What's your game? Poker, blackjack?
I'll play poker. I used to play good back in the day when poker internet was alive.
Yeah.
The poker games online, it was great because the Poker Stars and the Full Tilt and the Sunday Millions they used to be fucking incredible. Like you used to have like Poker Stars, you could go in, there'd be 3,000 people at a $250 buy-in online, and you could play. I used to play 8 tables at once. I used to play heavy poker. I did well though. I won in poker overall.
And so you can count cards and you know?
No, I just know the game. You just understand betting patterns. You gotta understand, how to play your position. I mean, I understand how to play poker, sit and goes. Live cash games, I don't play as much, but because I don't have the. I like to have sit there and just do other things. That's why the internet was great. I don't play live a lot because you can't leave the table.
Yeah.
You just sit there like I just think it's the most boring thing. With the internet, it's like ding 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 ding, quick. Cards come out. Fuck. I used to play 8 tables at once.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all at once.
Online.
8 tables at once. Yeah, it was fucking great.
I know. I mean, I've got people that made a lot of money. I was traumatized from gambling because when I was living in New York in my 20s, my roommate was a degenerate gambler.
Yeah.
So the guy was working his ass off, making good money, and I'd still have to float him for months at a time on red because he burned it all in Atlantic City or Vegas.
I mean, there's a lot of without all the sports gambling being legalized across the U.S., it's going to be insane. It's like the worst thing that ever happened for this country is sports gambling be illegal.
So yeah, I mean, for me, I always get a kick out of people's gambling superstitions. So
Oh my God, dude.
Alec and I get to Vegas with my roommate, and we had a big night. We're gonna go to a Lesso at XS, and he obviously didn't give a fuck. He wanted to go straight to the blackjack table. And so before we go out, Alec and I wanted to go to Carbone like gentlemen, do a proper dinner, drink some wine. He's like, I gotta get my lucky fucking gyro. I gotta go to my gyro. I guess there's some famous OG Greek spot in Vegas, and he gets his gyro every time he goes before he gambles. Alec is like, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm not going to eat a gyro before I go to the club. Like, fuck off.
Right.
So we didn't let him go get a gyro. We drag him to Carbone.
He's itching the whole time.
He's itching the whole time. We leave Carbone on the way to XS. He walks by the blackjack table, 30 grand, one hand. Which, by the way, no one told him to do that.
I'm surprised they take that action. Where's that?
Maybe 10 grand.
Yeah,
It was maybe, that's what it was. There's 3 $10,000 hands.
Okay.
One after another, boom, 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 loses all 3. All I know is within 30 seconds, he had lost 30 grand.
Oh my God.
And he looks at Alec and goes, fuck you. I wanted that fucking gyro. You fucked me. You owe me 30 grand. You should have let me get my gyro. This is all your fault. I can't believe you lost my 30 grand. Alec takes one look at him. He's like, you can suck my dick. I'm going to a Lesso.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
And just turned his back and walked away.
The ladies that sit in the slot machine all the time is the greatest. They tap the fucking screen like 3 times. They look like they have fucking Tourette's.
Yep.
You find some weird ass people.
You see those girls that are playing 5 slots at once.
Oh yeah.
They're just doing
I have a good, when I was in, that's why I have all the status I do at the Cosmos. So I was in Vegas, and like I said, usually I don't really, if I gamble, I actually don't even really do it in Vegas that much. But I go there, and my key doesn't work for my hotel room. My assistant, Brett, at the time was like fucking doing something. So I had 15 minutes, 20 minutes to kill. So I said, all right, you know what, I'll take out 5 grand. I took out 5 grand cash. Said, fuck it, I'm gonna play big for a minute. I'll go in these slot machines in the high limit room. So I go in the slot machines in the high limit room, put in the fucking $100, miss, $100, missed, $100. Oh, I hit for fucking $1,400. All right, so the machine goes off. You gotta wait for the guy to come over and pay you and all that shit. So I moved to the next slot while I was waiting. I was playing fast.
Yeah.
Hits. Fucking long story short, I hit 36 jackpots.
Wow.
In 15 minutes.
What?
And I was up about 40 grand, and then I went to this machine, Deuces Wild. And with Deuces Wild, the best thing you can get is Deuces Wild and obviously a normal, natural flush. So I put in $200, I increased my bet. I hit 4 fucking deuces. 25,000. So I'm at $65,000 in 9 minutes.
No,
so
on
I'm like,
slots.
On slots. So I'm like, all right, that's
Wow.
fucking crazy. So I'm like, I should probably take my money.
Yeah.
So I get the money, they give me 65 grand. I take that back, I go to the same machine I just won, the 25, or the whatever, 40 grand or whatever from the Deuces Wild. Go back to that same machine, all of a sudden put in the money and boom. Before you, because you have to hold and redraw cards.
Yeah.
It goes 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace, all clubs. And I was like, holy fucking shit, this is gonna be a monster. Like, this is the best thing you can get. I held every single one of them, made sure I pressed the buttons right, boom, 150 grand. So I left with like fucking $190,000.
Oh, slot machines.
Off slot machines in 15
No.
minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes.
Bro, I'm going to Vegas and playing the slots right now.
I told you you're invited to come. We don't like to
Wow.
travel alone. Why don't you like to travel alone?
I mean, who does? Who likes to travel alone? I hate it.
Some people are loners though.
Some people are loners. I guess I've always. I mean, look. Obviously, I have the worst ADD on the planet.
Yeah, you're like me.
Both of us together were like, Riddle and test tube babies.
Right, exactly. The guinea pigs.
I need the social stimulus, and I don't know, it's just nicer, sitting next to someone on a plane, having a Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bloody Mary plane guy.
Really?
I have to have a Bloody Mary on the plane.
Airport conversations are always fun.
Yeah.
That's why it's like the private jets and all that stuff. Not saying I can afford one or anything like that, but I have the opportunity to fly private a lot. I don't really fuck with it. I feel first of all, I feel like a douchebag. I don't know why.
I love it.
And then B, I just fucking think that they are obviously, I believe, way more likely to crash, and they probably don't care as much, because if a private plane crashes with 12 people on it,
it's not even news.
What happened? It's not even news.
Yeah.
If a fucking Delta airline fucking crashed with 230
Someone's
passengers,
under-
it's the stock going down. It's
stock
$1 billion
plummets, yeah.
fucking thing. I'm like, nothing's fucking happened to this thing. So that's just the way I
I mean,
think.
there's just the convenience. I really think that private travel is the true differentiator of wealth.
You really need my plane to crash, actually, and I died. This would be the best piece of
last-
content
the
ever.
last-
This is
the
the
last
last talk
podcast
ever
Bob
on the
ever
way to the
does.
airport.
Guys, let's say a little prayer that Bob's plane crashes.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. No, please. If it happens, it happens. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind going down in a plane crash.
If you had to choose a death for yourself, what would it be?
Well, I'm obviously going to choose them. I mean, I already did it, which I talked about yesterday. I mean, I went into chasing that tornado.
That's not a bad way to go.
Fully anticipating I was going to die.
Dying in a tornado is a pretty fucking bad. Apologies to anyone who's lost a family member to a tornado. It's a terrible natural disaster.
Well, the difference is with the people that lost a family member, they weren't expecting the tornado.
Yeah.
We were going.
If you're a tornado chaser and that's how you go,
you don't deserve it, but you deserve it.
it's not a bad way to go out.
Memory dies by tornado is the most badass
Pretty
fucking
badass.
thing.
Your SEO for eternity is insane.
But it was crazy. I remember we went down there, so I always was fascinated with tornadoes. I YouTube them all the time.
Yeah.
I always used to watch tornadoes. Tornadoes and crocodiles are like my two things that I'm always watching. I'm watching like gazelles get eaten out of the I don't know why. So I sit there and watch for like 4 hours sometimes, like tornadoes just flying around.
Yep.
So I'm like, you know what? I want to chase one. So I found the best storm chaser in the world, Reed Timmer.
Yep.
Picked up the phone and said, Reed, you don't know me? He actually was like, yeah, I do know you. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. He was like my celebrity, like the guy I get like starstruck in front of. So I was like, dude, I gotta do this, man. And he's like, dude, of course, come on out. So I'm like, all right. So from afar, I'm like, I'm fucking going. I mean, I just had some scheduling conflicts. I couldn't do it. But then there's that one day where, because he'll text me weekly. He'll text me every week and be like, hey, Oklahoma, it's going. Let's go.
By the way, the craziest thing is you saying this. So my friend owns the Oklahoma City Thunder basketball team.
Yeah.
And I have bugged him for 3 years to go tornado chasing.
Dude, just come with
It's
me.
all I want to do.
Dude, just come with me.
I've got to go.
Dude, so here's the deal.
I'm not even saying this for this podcast. I'm dying to go chase tornadoes.
Let me tell you
I saw that vehicle he built. It looks insane.
Dude, it's insane.
What's it called? The Beast or something?
Dominator.
The Dominator.
The Dominator, whatever it is.
The Dominator.
Dude, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, we were lucky because he thought it was going to be a huge one.
Yeah.
But it was actually ended up being an EF1, EF2 right on the line, which wasn't that bad. But it was still scary. We were inside of it. So we were inside.
And he's doing this. His goal is to save lives. He wants to.
Here he is, Reed.
Reed, what's up, man? Big fan of yours. Big fan of the Dominator. I got to get out there and chase a storm one of these days.
Are you in it right now? He's inside the Dominator as we speak.
He's in the Dominator, people.
Where?
Wow.
Where is the action?
I mean, the base is pizza. Remember that?
Yeah. Where are you chasing the tornado right now?
How's it going, Bob?
Where are you chasing this thing?
Oh, I'm at tomorrow.
And sometimes you lose Reed on connection-wise. I can't hear you, Reed. The connection's awful. So Reed is so funny. I'll be like this. I'll like randomly FaceTime Reed out of the blue because I like talk to him.
And
see
he's
what's
like,
going
I'm
on.
in a tornado,
And
bro.
he's like, what's going on? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like sitting in this nice whatever. But I'm telling you, the story is great. So I go to Kansas City. I finally am doing it.
Yeah.
First tornado chase ever. And I get on the plane, and then it starts to settle in. I'm like, okay, so I'm really fucking doing this.
Yeah.
So we go in Kansas City, Missouri, land in Missouri. He fucking picks me up at the airport, and he picks me up in this little Subaru. And it looks like it went through World War III. It's got dents and everything, like bullet holes in the fucking thing, it looks like. And I'm like,
Hail, probably from hail.
From the hail.
Yeah.
And so he's basically, we get in the car, We're driving, and I'm like, where are we going? Because I don't give a fuck. You know,
Yeah.
I don't need an
You're
itinerary.
like, I'll go anywhere.
You don't need
Yeah.
a fucking itinerary when
Take
you're
me
fucking
to your
going.
tornado.
Right. So we're driving. He's like, yeah, we're going to the middle of fuckface fucking whatever, America, and we're driving 2 hours, and then we'll wake up in the morning. We're gonna wake up in the morning, and I'll wake you up at 10 a.m. and then we're gonna go. And I'm like, all right. So I'm starting to get a little nervous at this point when I'm driving there. So we finally go. We go in the middle of, I'm telling you, bumfuck nowhere. It was in, I think, Mississippi or so, I don't know, or Iowa or something, I don't know. And so we get to the hotel. There is nobody at this fucking hotel. It's like literally like $13 to check in. It's like whatever. And there's, when I'm talking flatland, it's right in Dixie Alley or Tornado Alley, I forget which one. But just the most eerie fucking place that you're like, all right, this is where the fucking shit happens.
Yeah.
Go check in. And that's when I'm like, holy fuck. Like, this is going to be the scariest thing. Like, I'm going into what could be a
serious
F5,
tornado,
like
yeah.
fucking the
A
one in
massive
Joplin. The one in
tornado.
Joplin fucking
Yeah.
Missouri took out a fucking, like, it's insane.
Took out a whole town.
So I try to go to bed at 10 a.m. I'm
Yeah.
trying to close my eyes. I just can't. I'm freaking the fuck
I
out.
wouldn't be able to
I'm
sleep.
trying to look for like flights maybe out of there to get the fuck out of there. I've looked at it on my phone. I'm like, dude, I can't
This
do
was
this.
a terrible idea.
I thought like, this is fucking retarded. Like, I can't fucking do this. So I fucking get my, start to fall asleep. All of a sudden I hear, right?
You hear?
I kind of go, I hear like getting louder and louder and louder. I'm like, what the fuck? So I get up, I'm like, motherfucker, I'm like tweaking out, I'm like looking around, I'm like looking out the window, like there's a fucking tornado coming. And then I look out the window and it's a car.
Oh,
and that's
and
how
dominant.
there was nobody driving in that area. That's how flatland it is.
Yeah,
So
for
once
sure.
every 3 hours a car came by.
Wow.
And it was so
sounded-
flat, it sounded like a fucking tornado was coming. So I freaked the fuck out, look outside, see it's a car, I'm like, all right, whatever. Didn't sleep 1 minute. No Adderall,
Yeah.
no nothing, just couldn't sleep. Freaking the fuck out. I'm
you're
pacing
wired
around the
out.
room.
Yep.
I'm like, whatever. The skies aren't bad though. Like, it's not like, doesn't look
It
stormy.
doesn't look gloomy or ominous.
No.
It snaps like that.
So we go, I wake up, and it by the way, it probably actually slept 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where I did wake up and to the knock at the door
Yeah.
that I was so out of it from not sleeping, and it was Reed. And he came late because I was like, oh my God, maybe it's not happening. Please don't make it happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking go do this shit. He was an hour late, knocked on the door. He's like, all right, let's go. I'm like, motherfucker, no. I'm like, all right, fuck. So I go outside, and I'm like, so what are we looking at today, Reed? He's like, well, I'll tell you, the storm bucket clouds are looking pretty good. These cumulus fuck you clouds are good. We're looking at a big one, maybe multiple tornadoes, F5, F5, whatever. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, all right, what are we taking? He's like, the car right here. I'm like, we don't have the fucking Dominator, which is a big shielded
Yeah,
car. He's like, no, we're gonna take the Subaru that already had the fucking bullet holes in it.
No.
It looked like it had like one tire.
Did he do anything special to the Subaru?
No,
Or
he's a
the Subaru?
psychopath.
It was just the Subaru.
No, so I'm like, Reed, like what? Like we're really taking this fucking car to go into an F5 tornado? He's like, you'll be fine. I guarantee survival.
I
So I'm-
guarantee survival.
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm like, okay.
100% survival rate to date.
Chased 1,000 tornadoes in life,
Yeah,
so he's
yeah.
done pretty well. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't know. Maybe I'm like, this is the one time. Bob decides to go.
Yeah.
We get in the car. This guy's pretty good. Then we go to this fucking meeting in a parking lot with
Like
all
it's
the other tornado chasers
Bro,
coming in.
it's literally out of Twister.
Yeah.
It's out of the movie Twister.
We all meet in the parking lot, and like, I hate to say it, I don't want to judge people's looks or anything.
Yeah.
But like, these guys didn't look like the brightest fucking guys on the planet. All right. One of them had like 3 teeth. The other
Yeah.
guy was like ponytail, and I'm like, hey, how you doing, Bob? Nice to meet you. Like, hey, how you doing? Like, whatever. And they all start talking because all these tornado chasing, all these storms fire off in different
Yeah,
places.
for sure.
You got to pick which storm you want to go to,
They're
right?
on the radios. They're looking at the clouds.
So we all of a sudden we get in, and I hear them start talking, and then one kid tells me the story, and he's like, yeah, you see Jimmy over there? He's like, yeah, Jimmy just got sucked up in the one in Missouri. He got thrown a mile and got turned into a pretzel in the car. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, shouldn't have been alive. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? So I'm like, dude, fuck this. I'm like, Reed, I can't do this. I can't. I'm like, I'll fuck it out. I can't do it, Reed.
Wow.
Reed's like, Bob, I guarantee you survival. You're good. So I'm like, all right, let's go. I get in the car. I'm just tweaking out.
Yeah.
We start driving. I see a liquor store, right? Finally.
You're like, give
and
me
I go like this. I go,
anything.
Reed, pull the fuck in there. Don't judge me. Okay? Pull in. I get a 30-pack of Bud Light.
Yep.
I get a fucking handle of vodka. And when I tell you that I drank 15 beers and about 10 shots
Yep.
in a matter of probably 15 minutes,
So now you're drunk in a Subaru.
I am fucking hammered heading into a fucking tornado. Okay? But I'm also so scared that I'm not even drunk.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't feel
The
as left.
adrenaline probably was sobering you up.
Sober me up. So we start driving, and we're driving like 3 hours, and it's still like clear skies. I'm like, maybe like this shit's really not
It missed
happening.
us, yeah.
Like, and then Reed's on the phone the whole time. We're like fucking AccuWeather. Like, we got storms firing up and fucking whatever. I'm like, what is going on? What is my life? Reed starts telling me a story, okay? He's like, all right, we're getting closer. Skies now turn a little greenish,
Yeah.
like a little weird. So he's like, Bob, I want to just tell you one thing. Some people panic. I just want to let you know. He's like, just don't get out of the car, ever. I'm like, okay, what do you mean? He's like, well, the hail is really dangerous too. He's like, the hail, if it hits you, you know, it just doesn't really benefit you. And I'm like, well, what happens if it hits me? I'm like,
got knocked unconscious.
no. He's like, oh, you're just dead. I'm like,
Big hail.
okay,
yeah.
cool. And he's like, also too, if it hits you in the spine, you'll be paralyzed probably. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, well, Reed, what happens to the windows and shit in this car? Like,
Yeah.
if the fucking hail's
It's
just,
not
you're like, oh, they
reinforced
blow out all the time. They blow out in your fucking face. It smashes it. I'm like,
This is insane.
so I'm like, okay, cool. So now we're like getting in it. So
Yeah.
it's like starting to drizzle a little and starting to like do whatever. And I just see like just the devil's asshole ahead of me. Okay. And I'm like, whatever. So I don't feel like a pussy. I took a bicycle helmet that he had and I
Oh,
put it
I
on my,
wouldn't feel it. I
put it on my
wouldn't-
fucking head. So
yeah.
I'm in the back seat with the world's top
Does he
throw.
put a helmet on or no?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, I'm the only one with a fucking helmet in the back seat
Yeah.
like a fucking kid. It was him and the #1 drone racer in the world. So their goal
Oh, wow,
was to fly a drone
Keep
around
that
the
in
tornado and all this shit.
Yeah.
So they were really calm. I was freaking out, and then we're just all of a sudden, like, kind of just quickly, out of nowhere, just in the worst
In the middle.
weather that you could possibly have possible. It is the most
Lateral
torrential,
rain,
just
gray
the most
skies.
torrential downpour ever.
Yeah.
And Reed's like screaming on his thing, like, oh, we're moving through Joplin, we're making our way over to this thing. And I'm just like, oh my God, Reed, get me out of here. Oh, but actually, time out. The better part of the story, real quick, sorry to keep talking. I get so scared right before, because I start to see the skies and everything. There's a gas station, and it's like really dangerous weather all around
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
And I'm like, Reed, I just want to let you know, man, like, I'm like, I can't do this. I'm going to get an Uber. I'm gonna
get an
I'm gonna
Uber.
call an Uber. I swear to God, I'm like, whatever. And Reed's like, yeah, good luck with that, Bob.
Yeah.
He's like, good luck getting an Uber right
luck
now.
finding an
He's like,
Uber.
nobody is going to drive you. He's like, by the way, an Uber driver's not going to drive you in a fucking tornado. We have 15
Yeah.
storms firing around us. And I was just like, all right, that's it. I'm in. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, get in. And then, like
Yeah.
I said, we're in the fucking middle of it. Torrential rain. And then the motherfucking hail. Dude, when I tell
It's gonna
you,
be
it
frightening.
was missiles launching into the car like
Wow.
boom, 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 smash, boom, boom. None of the windows broke
Yeah,
out.
just hearing it.
And so we're punching through, he calls it, because there's two ways to go to the
Yeah.
tornado. Reed likes to be aggressive, so there's two ways. I've learned it as I've done more of them. When a tornado moves this way, right, you can, you want to get ahead of it, and then you kind of
Yeah.
like watch it go by.
Yeah.
The worst, more dangerous way to do it, which he does, is while it's this, you punch it from behind.
Yeah.
And you come
And
through
come
it,
up on the
and then
back
come up
side
on the
of it.
back side of it. And so fucking,
We're punching through.
we punched through it, and it was like hail just so fucking crazy that you'll never like.
Did he tell you how he got into storm chasing?
No, but hold on, let me finish. We get through, we punch through the hail, and then all of a sudden, there it is. Like rain-wrapped fucking thing right
Oh, wow.
from here to
Yeah.
that fourth tree.
Yeah.
Just fucking going like this, right by us. And I was like, whatever. And then it was just like that, it was over. It was just gone. And I was like, holy fuck, that was the most insane thing ever.
How long's the experience? 30
It
seconds?
was well because we punched it from behind. Like normally,
Yeah.
if you get ahead of it, you can like
watch it,
you
yeah.
watch it and it comes right at you. Like sitting there and you're just watching. You know it's coming towards you.
Yeah.
And you just like he moves slowly away from it because tornadoes move one way. Believe it
Yeah,
or not, they
right.
don't fucking shift.
But he's still predicting. It's not like he knows
He's a
exactly.
fucking expert.
Yeah.
So we pass it. And then I look to my left and there is a town like decimated. And I'm like,
Wow, that's
and I'm
the
like,
tough part
what the
of it.
fuck? And he's like, search and rescue. I'm like, what? Search and rescue? I'm hammered in the back of a fucking, I'm like blacked out in the back. He's like, I'm like, Reed, what's search and rescue? He's like, we gotta go find if there's people fucked up and all that. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. So I'm like, let's go. I'm like running in. There's these kids like coming up from their basements with just ghosts.
my
They're
God,
ghost faces.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like, it doesn't happen. You don't get hit by a tornado often, right? It's not, even if you live in that area, to get hit, it's still rare. And they were just like everybody, I have some videos.
Shell shocked.
It was pretty insane. But then after that, I just felt like the man.
So did you find and help anyone? Like,
There was
you're-
nobody
you
injured because
either-
it was a smaller one, but there was like power lines definitely ripped out pretty good. There was
Yeah.
there was some houses with trees through it and all that stuff.
Well, I'm definitely in. I'd prefer to convince him to take the Dominator. But
Well, the problem with the Dominator though too is it's more scary because he gets more aggressive with the Dominator.
Oh, sure.
So with the Dominator,
He's
what
like,
it
we're
is?
going to the center.
No, yeah, like what they do is with the Dominator, they position it where
it
they
runs
know
over
and it
it,
just goes
yeah.
through you.
Yeah.
So it's literally, but that drills into the ground. So
Yeah.
like it has these
Oh,
things.
really?
So it has these things, yeah. Dude, he was with his buddy, and his buddy's ears started bleeding, like pouring
Wow.
blood out of the side of his fucking head when he was fucking in it.
No.
Yeah, no shit.
The pressure.
Because of the pressure, yeah. And then his other buddy, because I was like, Reed, like, how the fuck? I'm like, I don't care how fucking smart you are, extreme meteorologist, all this shit. Like, you cannot fucking predict the way this thing is moving.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know this? Keep us far on this trip. He's like, storms only move one way, tornadoes, but they sometimes can have a tendency to take a left hook. And that's the
Yeah.
only thing you gotta be careful of. And just think about it, a tornado's this wide, and then you come up too much on in the middle of it, and you're like right next to it.
It'll hook
It
around.
sometimes can just hook and move this way a little bit. And that's how his buddy died. His two buddies, there were storm chasers, died. Their cameras were rolling just like this.
Yep.
Okay? They got sucked up like a mile in the air
Wow.
while the cameras were rolling, because he had to see the footage, like I think to identify or
Yep.
something like that. Sucked up in the air, shot him a fucking like mile, and just adios amigo.
God, that's
And they were
awful.
alive the whole time.
I mean, look, again, they died doing what they love. I think there's worse ways to go.
Yeah. So I mean, that was definitely a.
That's a cool experience, man. I'm in.
I love all that shit I do all the time, dude. It's
Yeah.
fun.
I'm in.
We stranded ourselves on an island for great white sharks. So we
Really?
and Cape Cod. You got to do that too. We
Yep.
no resources.
It's crazy because Cape Cod, the sharks are new there, right? It's only the last 10 years.
So it's gonna be South Africa in the next fucking 15
Yeah.
years. There's so much food there for them to
Yep.
eat. It's
But like 10, 15 years ago, they weren't there in the volume that they are now.
no, there was like 50 to fucking yeah.
Now it's a big thing. I mean, so I'm a spear fisherman my whole life. I love to spearfish. I've actually gone off Nantucket.
Mm-hmm.
I go off Long Island. I shoot the striped bass. And I actually was in California. I saw a great white. It was a juvenile. It was like 10 feet.
Yeah.
Luckily, the water was crystal clear.
Yep.
I could see 100 feet in any direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at the surface, and I just see in the corner of my eye just
Mm-hmm.
a great white just cruising. He was so confident.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even look at me. He didn't bother with me. Thank God. He just, kept.
You were
cruising
swimming?
along. I was swimming.
That's
I
fucking.
spearfishing.
We go to the
Thank
island.
God I didn't have a bloody fish.
Dude, we go to this island, so we go right in the corner of it's right near Nantucket. But there's
Yeah.
this island where they all are. They're just there. They're all there. So we
Yeah.
we do the beach shark fishing. So
Yeah.
we take our car, park it in the middle of the beach, no resources, no food, nothing, and we just fucking sit there for 9 days and just.
Well, you try to catch like a striper.
No,
or
we try and
bluefish?
not catch a great white shark 'cause you can't technically say. But
Can't take it.
we rip it. Whatever. If we catch a great white and hook one, I go with my buddy Elliot, Axe Sharks. You'd love it on
Yeah.
Instagram. 11
I
hours.
follow him, ACK Sharks.
Yeah. So me and him went.
He pulls up some monsters.
Dude, we were not off the shore too, and dude, I'm telling you,
And he's ripped too.
ripped. He does them so they set up rods. They fire these fucking rods in the ocean. But
Yeah.
you got to go in up to about here to cast.
Still in the water.
But you're in where all the great whites
Yeah.
are, and you can tell
Yeah.
they're there because it's all seals everywhere.
Yeah.
So he goes in, and we're like on day 7, we caught nothing, and he's going up to here, and he does it, and we've been sitting there all day. All of a sudden, 10 yards from on the right, this seal gets fucking nuked
Murked.
by a great white.
Wow.
10 yards. He's like, I'm not going fucking back in there. And that's how we.
How has it been for the tourists? Have they shifted around it? Like now there's, I saw a great white in Cape Cod shirts and
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
great white bar and stuff like that. It's funny how the tourism shifts.
Any chance to make a buck?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I was in South Africa 2 years ago, and I wanted to see the great whites, and I went spearfishing first. I go with this Afrikaner. I wanted to go shore diving. I'm
Yep.
like, I want to go spearfishing. I spent
What is shore diving?
shore diving is when you don't have a boat. You literally just jump in off the beach and go shoot fish and jump back. So the day before, I had gone on one of the fancy trips. We went on a big boat. I had the guide. Spent $3,000, didn't see a single fish. So I walk into a dive shop. I'm like, give me a fucking Afrikaner with a gun. I want to go jump in and shoot some fish off the beach. They're like, all right, we've got a guy for you. The guy picks me up 5 a.m. We drove to the most southern point of South Africa. I forget the name of the beach. We jump in. Immediately there's sharks. No great whites, just, duskies, bronzers. And the whole day we're getting attacked by sharks. Then we see a whale carcass. He says, oh, mate, this is perfect. We're going to jump in off that whale. I'm like, I don't know, man. That sounds like a terrible idea. But we did it. We jump in off the whale. Still no great whites.
Yeah.
So I come back and I'm talking to the dive shop. I said, hey, I'm pretty surprised. I didn't see a single great white. There's no great whites anywhere, it seems. If it's not on a whale, it's not anywhere. And so what they told me is that the killer whales have actually eaten all of the great whites there.
Yeah, those things are fucking dangerous.
So the orcas have actually been eating and predating. Predatoring? Is it predator or predating?
I'm not sure.
Predating, I think it's predating great whites.
Yeah, those things are orcas. They'll kill humans.
I'd love to see that battle. That would be like an epic battle to watch. Orca versus Great White.
No shit. The thing is with Nantucket too is Nantucket's so. You ever been down there?
I love it.
Nantucket's fucking
Right.
beautiful. We go there. I try to go there every year at least for a couple of weeks.
Again, I loved it before it got so douchey.
Yeah, I know.
Everything now has just gotten so douchey, so overpriced.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to Nantucket when I was a little kid. You know, and it was still pretty rustic and remote. It always reminds me of Jaws, the movie, actually, ironically.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's where it was
town,
shot.
yeah.
That's where it was shot. It was shot in Cape Cod.
Yep.
Did you ever do the hunting?
What, like hunting with a bow?
No, well, yeah, whatever, anything.
Yeah, I love to hunt. I love to hunt. I just did a bow hunting trip for deer, and one of the things I say, because it's really important for me to get this across to people, everyone looks at you if you hunt like you're this bloodthirsty savage.
Yeah.
But 3 out of 4 times when I go hunting, I don't even kill anything.
More than that.
You know, you go days at a time without seeing something you're willing.
Yeah, but
to
I don't
shoot.
think that's their point. At the end of the day, though, if you did see something, you would still kill it.
No, I would. But
I freaked out.
I'm saying you see tons of stuff and you don't shoot it because it's not old enough.
Oh,
it's not
exactly.
big
There's
enough.
restrictions. I
There's
just went.
real
I was just in Montana, Utah last week, 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago, and I went coyote hunting. And I was like, all right, I'm ready.
I
Because
don't
we
know
had
if I
night
could shoot a
vision.
coyote.
We had night vision. There was horses everywhere, and I was ready to fucking just take them out because I didn't know that. Right? I fucking didn't know. They're like, yo, those
Bob
are horses.
accidentally shoots a
I just was
thoroughbred.
like, yeah, exactly, dude. There was all these fucking horses.
That was the
I
Prince
wouldn't
of
have done it
Dubai's
though.
horse.
I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have killed an animal though. I would have freaked out.
I can't kill a coyote. I love dogs too much. I've got 3 dogs. I'm not shooting coyotes. Let them do their thing. I get it if you're a farmer and they're eating your chickens or they're eating your livestock. You have to keep the population low, but for me, I have zero interest in hunting a coyote. I don't want to shoot a lion. I don't want to shoot a leopard, none of the predators. My whole thing is I will only kill something I'll personally eat. That's a big thing for me.
Okay.
I-
Yeah. There's a $50 bounty per coyote.
Yeah,
So in that where
they
it
pay
is,
you.
they
They
pay
pay
$50
you,
if you kill them. But it was definitely I definitely didn't go
Bob
with the
the
right
coyote
people.
killer.
I didn't go with the right people. I'll tell you that much.
Anyways, look, this wasn't the Art Basel that we expected, but I'm glad that you came. This was a fun trip.
This is a good trip. We got to do it again.
We got him in and out. This was a quick Bob Menery trip. He's going on to Vegas to take over the gambling world.
Yes, hopefully. The gambling world is a very dangerous gambling world. Oh boy. But
Have you announced the company yet? What's the name of the company?
it's Monkey Tilt, but yeah, none of the partners have really been announced or anything that we have in, but we have some good people behind it. It's gonna be good. So
Is it just a gambling website or?
yeah, it's an international casino. So it'll be outside the states.
Oh, so it's offshore.
It'll be outside the states.
You guys are doing it right.
You know?
Base it in the Caymans or something like that.
Yeah, but it's there's restrictions on certain play and everything like that. So
Yeah.
so it's all.
I've never online gambled either. Maybe I gotta fire into it.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Give me some free credits.
We're
I'll play.
gonna get you addicted. I want to get you addicted and have you lose everything.
I'm gonna be sitting at my computer losing my funds while my wife screams at me.
Pleasure.
All right, brother.
I love it.
Great talk.
This is a good time. Thank
Get
you.
home safe. Get to Vegas.
I love it.